Melbourne mother of one Daniela Brazacchio knows how devastating a cancer diagnosis can be. The 37-year-old mother, who carried a genetic mutation known as BRCA1, was diagnosed with ovarian cancer in 2007. She died 6 years later in a bid to lower her chance of getting cancer. Mrs. Brazacchio had a preventative double mastectomy in 2015 after she discovered that she too carried the BRCA1 gene, the gene mutation, which actress Angelina Jolie also has, drastically increases a woman's lifetime risk of developing breast and ovarian cancer. Speaking to Female, Mrs. Brazacchio said her decision to have the surgery was one that she believes may ultimately save her life. She said her mother had symptoms for several months but doctors were unable to diagnose her. Suddenly a gland in her neck swelled up, and unfortunately that turned out to be cancer, Mrs. Brazacchio said. We didn't know where the cancer had originated from, but it turned out she had a grapefruit-sized tumor in her abdomen which originated from the ovaries. By the time her then 53-year-old mother's cancer was properly diagnosed, it was advanced and had already spread to other parts of her body. Not long before her mother's cancer diagnosis, her mother's sister had died from breast cancer. The prevalence of cancer prompted both Mrs. Brazacchio and her sister to seek testing, which later revealed the gene mutation BRCA1 ran in the family. Though her sister didn't test positive for the gene, Mrs. Brazacchio did. It was quite traumatizing for myself knowing that I carried the BRCA1 mutation as a young adult. Mum battled ovarian cancer for 6 years. It was a long battle for her and also the family, she said. I didn't want to repeat history. Essentially, when I had my breasts removed, I don't think appreciated how much anxiety I felt over the thought of developing breast cancer. My risk of breast cancer was basically above 80%, so it was very high. The new mother, who gave birth to a boy Etienne 6 months ago, now faces further surgery that will see her ovaries and fallopian tubes removed. My risk of ovarian cancer as it stands is about 50%. That's the next thing I will have to face. It means very early menopause. I will be in my 40s by the time the process happens, which is very young. Preventative measures are really important so that I am around for him in full health as well. While Mrs. Brazacchio's course of action might sound drastic to some, the mother, who is also a cancer scientist, knows only too well how important it is to manage any possible risks. Because I have a medical background, I am fully aware of the ramifications of a cancer diagnosis, she said. Once you have that diagnosis, you have cancer, she continued. Ovarian cancer detection is very challenging. There's no way of actually testing someone like me who is very high risk of developing cancer. The only way to prevent it or reduce the risk is to have surgery. The benefits of not ever being diagnosed with cancer far outweigh the side effects. Although Mrs. Brazacchio wishes testing for the gene had been available before her mother was diagnosed, she believes it's important for all women with any health concerns to get tested. If you have a personal history of breast cancer diagnosed at a young age, a personal history of breast cancer affecting both breasts, a personal history of both breast and ovarian cancers, a personal history of ovarian cancer, a history of breast cancer at a young age, and 2 or more close relatives, a male relative with breast cancer, those with Ashkenazi Eastern European Jewish ancestry. Source: mayoclinic.org. She said starting the process could be as simple as answering the Know Your Risk questionnaire offered by charity Pink Hope. The questionnaire outlines if you are at low, medium or high risk and provides advice for how to move forward. Additionally, I think it's important for women to be aware of their own health, and no matter how busy you are, listen to their symptoms and being proactive at the first possible sign, she said. If there's a doctor that doesn't listen, find another, because women have very good instincts. If you have a family to look after, or friends, or an important role at work, you can't be there if you aren't well. The earlier you take action, the better things will be long term, she concluded.